It is time to ask yourself the questions you've been avoiding. Am I good enough? Am I happy? Am I doing what God has called me to do, or am I just sitting back watching the world go by? Is there something better for me out there? Whether you're a single woman trying to live a more joyful life, a married woman struggling in your relationship, or a mother trying to be the best parent you can be, this podcast is for you. The Stepping Into Your Calling podcast is a live workshop style health and wellness podcast packed with actionable steps that will help you live a more fulfilling life. Host Sol Lagunas brings her knowledge as a registered nurse, mother of 3 children, wife, student, and faith-based leader to inspire you to step into your calling without fear. Hello and welcome to the Stepping Into Your Calling podcast. My name is Sol. I am your host and I'm here with Jumoni. And it's so funny because we've actually never met. So we're going to get to know each other during this conversation. But Jumoni, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Absolutely. First, thank you for having me on this amazing podcast of yours. I've been able to binge through like 7 episodes, so that was great to get to know a little about you. I'll go right into what I do right now. I currently work as an contributions and enrollment specialist for a insurance company that provides healthcare for union workers in the hospitality industry. As far as me, I'm very simple to please in terms of happiness is very close to the chest, and so I'm a big pro wrestling fan, a huge anime nerd. But one thing that I'm focused on is just self improvement and that continued growth and cultivating that space and life that I want. But yeah, I actually have a birthday coming up next week, April 5th. I'll be 32 and I'm a native of Chicago.
Nice. I like that you said that, you're all about like self-improvement because I think that's where our connection came from. I know Richie's interested in that topic as well. And so what can you tell me about self-improvement? Like, what does that mean to you?
So for me, it's about continued and steady growth. Even if it's slow progress, it's still progress. And sometimes people in general get caught up in trying something or doing something not long enough and get discouraged by not seeing results, right? And the ability to have that delayed gratification is something that I had to learn a few years back. And so I believe Mark Cuban said it, how you do anything is how you do everything. And our life as a whole, I break it up into 5 categories: health and fitness, wealth and career, social, spiritual, and then of course, I'm blanking on the 5th one. But basically, the idea is that if you're doing like a B plus or better in those categories, whatever that means for you, then you're living a good life. So I want to be able to do what's a 10 out of 10 for me in those categories, and it's an everyday progress. There's no end. For instance, fitness. If you have a fitness goal or health goal, once you reach it, it doesn't stop. Now you have to maintain that. Same with a business or finances. It's like, yes, you might hit a milestone, but it's like, oh, I made $1 million. Now I'm done. No, it's going to be like, okay, let's keep growing. Let's see what else we can do.
Yeah, I love that. I'm fascinated by self-improvement. I think it always starts from somewhere, like some experience in your life, something happened that triggered that like a self-improvement button in your head and you're like, I'm going to go all in. Do you have such experience, or where did self-improvement come from or originate from in your life?
That's a good question. I think I'll caveat this by saying wh- I'm gonna guesstimate around 17 or 18 years old. I just got a new, so I had my first job when I was 16, working at a in a gift shop within a hotel for um, a family friend. Uh, it was great experience to get started. It was a summer job before right before going into high school, and even though it was nothing crazy, I actually really enjoyed it. It was very chill. Um, and then I got my first job at 17 working for Blue Cross Blue Shield. I just knew that for me, I wanted to do something more or something different outside of the traditional 9 to 5. And there's nothing wrong with a career job or anything of that nature, but it was just something within me was just telling me do something different, and I couldn't really pinpoint it. I actually tried out for the NBA G League,
Mm.
or D League as it was called back then. Didn't make it obviously, but and nor did I really believe I had a chance. But it was just something like something's always drawn me to something different or unique. And so
Mm-hmm.
then the bug for self improvement really hit once I went down the rabbit hole of just the first thing I tried to do is like, okay, how do we make money online? And then that just going down the rabbit hole, and now I'm finding all of these self improvement videos, and I'm like, okay, this really aligns with my spirit.
You know, a book that I'm listening to on Audible right now is called Rich Dad Poor Dad. Have you read that?
I have it. It's right next to me actually. I'm reading Rich Dad Poor Dad and Think and Grow Rich.
Okay, I
Mhm.
so far I'm only in the first chapter because I just purchased it.
Yep.
It's so good.
I know. Yes. Actually, I might be around the same area you are. Just I'm not too deep into it, but I try to read a few pages every night.
Yeah, something about like I don't know. I think I've held it in my hand like way too many times and never
Hmm.
purchased it. And then I'm like, oh, it's on Audible. Let me just
Yep.
pop it on and listen to it. So there are books that I need a physical copy of, and there's books that I'm like, okay, I could probably listen to this. But with self improvement, and you said you work for a company or organization, how do you maintain a good work life balance?
That's a good. So for me, it's never been really difficult. I think part of it, I've been in a sense fortunate not to be at those very stressful levels of having to do like any kind of managerial work where a lot of people unfortunately have to take home with them. But even if I did, I'm a pretty stoic person when it comes to certain things. So um, it's just work is work, and everything else is just personal, right? And because I know my focus is just I'm in the space of entrepreneurship. That's the where I want to be or go. Work is just a pedestal to get to the next level, and so it's
Okay.
pretty easy for me to just differentiate in my head like whatever issues I may have at work. It's just I have to deal with it for 8 hours, right? So.
Yeah. And I think a lot of it has to do with like external factors. So
Hmm.
if you don't have external factors either like pouring negative thoughts into you or drama, quote unquote,
Hmm.
then you're pretty like you said, tunnel vision, looking at the end of the tunnel for the goal and the prize. So that's good. I mean, for me, it's hard to maintain a work life balance just because I love work so much, and then I also love my kids so much. So it's like
As you
I'm
should.
always like, yeah, I'm always like all over the place. And I think it's maybe the female brain. I don't know.
Mm.
Like it's just I'm just meant to be an overthinker and overanalyzer. I don't know,
Hey,
but
it could be a superpower.
well, I appreciate your take on self improvement. I think that if people in general were to dive a little bit into why they're doing the things that they're doing, reflect on their mistakes and learn from them versus let them define them, then I think the world would probably be a little bit of a better place to live.
Really, really quickly, I want to go back to that same question. Something I helped start or well founded. I have actually a men's self improvement group that is just between me and three other friends. We do it. It's a little tougher now to meet weekly, but we gather via Zoom weekly, and the start of it is like, hey, what's our goals for the year. Where do we want to end up by the end of the year? And so we then break down those goals into micro goals monthly, and then we come back and meet up and try to keep each other accountable, see where we can help each other, because we all have different expertise in certain areas. So we try to gather resources and just information to help one another to again to improve and just be better than we were yesterday.
Wow, that's amazing. And you founded this group, and where did the idea come from? Like, how did it happen?
I think eh, part of, and this will tie back into why me and Richie are friends, because we've been friends since high school, but much like a lot of people may have experienced after graduating high school, because we didn't go to the same college, uh, communication just dropped. There was no beef or anything, but we just just stopped talking. That just kind of naturally, right? And so in 2020, we randomly reconnected. I remember reaching out to him, and then found out me and him were kind of dipping our hands into the same thing. So I was like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
um, I think I have this. I know, not that I think, but I know that I want to help others along the way. I love to see other people succeed, especially people close to me, and I
Mm-hmm.
get excited about um, either teaching someone something new or just sharing what I'm learning or experience, especially in that space of self improvement or entrepreneurship. So I've actually started this group twice now. The first time it was a little bit of a bigger group, but now I just started with four of us, which makes it much more not just manageable, but I
Mm-hmm.
like the closeness of the feeling.
Yes.
So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I just have this innate feeling just to help others as much as I can.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. It's also very rewarding, well, not only to serve, but then to get that feedback or to see the transformation. I mean, that's just something that, makes the hairs on the back of my neck stick up, you know?
Hmm.
So that's great. That's awesome. Thank you for doing that because I feel like we should all be working on something to help give back to the community. Okay, well, with that being said, I think a lot of our personality comes from the experiences that we had as kids, our earliest memories, and how they impacted the people around us who raised us. But is there something that you would go back and tell your younger self to help you uh, today, like who you are today?
Absolutely. Invest in Bitcoin. No, I'm joking. Um, no, I would have definitely had told myself to have conviction for what I feel, even if I didn't know what exactly that looked like or would look like going forward. I have been blessed to have phenomenal family members, friends, and I know they absolutely want me to succeed. But sometimes, and there's a phrase that just kept ringing in my head. You have to you have to allow the dreams of others to die of you in order to live the dream that you want. Because what I want is so much bigger than they could even fathom. Um, and just having that confidence and conviction in myself at a younger age would have definitely uh, pushed me to the path where I want to be, because I'm definitely not there yet. I'm very a long way away. But I will say this: there's definitely opportunities and resources that I didn't take advantage of that family members have offered or friends have given me some advice on that I should have taken for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But that's okay, right? You know, such is life.
Right.
Um, and I don't regret anything because I'm where I need to be at the time I need to be. I'm glad that I didn't figure this out 10 years later on, right? I'm still a joke that I'm old, but I'm still young. So
No, you're young.
thank you. So, and I know I have time, and it really, if anyone can take the time to just make a transformation in any area of their life in 6 months to a year. Like going back to what I said, like if you go to the gym for a day, you're not going to see results. A week, you're still not going to. Even a month, right, or two
Mm-hmm.
months, is going to take consistent. So even the smallest actions, just consistency over the course of a longer time frame for you to see those results. So for me, just going back in time to tell my younger self, it's like just whatever you feel, go for it, and just try to continue to inform yourself. Um, oh, something I wanted to absolutely say: motion over meditation.
Mm.
Sometimes we get caught up in what I'll go ahead and say is mental masturbation, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
the let's just research this thing, watch 1,000 videos, and then it's like, oh, cool, you got the knowledge, but you need the application of it. Absolutely research it and make sure you do your due diligence, pray on it, but at some point you got to take action, right? you don't
Yeah.
you don't ride a bike learning watching a YouTube video. You learn by
Mm-hmm.
riding. So,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I do like that. I feel like a lot of it comes from the thinking process. Like, okay, I need to learn how to do this, and I need to do this before I can actually step out and start the business, or before I can actually step out and start the podcast, or whatever it is. And honestly, the beginning is always messy. The thing is that you just have to start. You linger so much into like the knowing, or I have to know before I can actually do it part, that you don't get started, and then time just passes. And I blame myself for that, and I think that's what triggered my self-improvement journey or self-development journey, is that for 4 years I contemplated starting a podcast. I learned everything about what it is, like from recording software to materials, equipment, whatever it was that I needed during those 4 years. And I finally was like, what am I waiting for? I feel like this idea never left. Like it's always in my gut telling me like,
yep.
you gotta start. And so finally I'm like, you know what, I don't care if it's messy, like I'm just gonna do it, because otherwise how am I gonna learn the ins and outs of what I want to do? So
Mhm.
I was pleasantly surprised that after waiting for 4 years, it is something that I actually like doing. Because that's another thing, right? You wait for so long, or you plan something for so long, only to realize that that's not something that you really want to do. And so you got to jump into action to really see if that's something that you want to dive into further. Mm-hmm.
And it's okay if like you go into it and you realize, okay, this is not for me. It's still not wasted effort or energy because you still learn something new. You have that experience, and you can always come back to it later on if it's just something in terms of a timing thing. Sometimes uh, a good thing at the wrong time can be bad. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like if I gave a razor blade to a baby, they're gonna nick themselves. But if I
Right.
give it to an adult, they can use it to groom themselves. So I've like for me, I've again dipping my hands into multiple things. I've tried affiliate marketing. I've tried wholesale real estate. I did podcasting. I streamed on Twitch. But these are all things that gave me something else, and it guided me to now what I figure out exactly what it is that I want to do, and that's e-commerce. So it's it's not there's no experience that's bad in terms of you just going for something, even if it doesn't quote unquote succeed or push you to the moon in terms of financial, life changing, rewards. It's all useful.
Yeah, it is. And can you explain what e-commerce is to someone that's listening to our podcast?
Yeah, e-commerce is simply running an online business, and there's literally thousands upon thousands of different ways you can do that. It could just be selling a product. You can have a niche online store or business. You can sell physical products. So if you're someone that's good at crafting things, or it literally can be anything. It could be water bottles. It could be pins or stickers. And the great thing about e-commerce, there's no ceiling, right? The world is
Mm-hmm.
literally your playground, and there's something for everybody, right? Even in the space of podcasting, as you know, at first maybe one of your reservations is like, oh, why would someone listen to me, right? That was definitely one of my
Mm-hmm.
worries.
Mm-hmm.
But think about the evidence is look at how many people podcast, right? And how many people are listening. So basically ask yourself, does the world have room for one more podcaster? Absolutely. And
Mm-hmm.
so that business that someone may be thinking about starting, going back to our point, is like, yes, take time to research on how to just get started and just go, right? And you can always fix things as you go. Um, it's good to have problems because that means something's working, right?
Right, right.
So yeah, but yeah, definitely if someone's interested in running an online business, I promise you just go again, YouTube University, even TikTok can be good for that sometimes. So, and a lot of people are succeeding in that space.
Well, that's e-commerce for anyone that's listening that wasn't sure. Um, and then how does someone who's extremely motivated, I mean, I can see you, and I mean, I don't necessarily love the words like motivation,
Hmm.
positivity. I feel like those are fleeting, right? But
Yeah,
how does
yeah.
someone like you who obviously has a job, now you're running your group, um, how does someone like you stay motivated? Stay inspired.
Yeah, so I would say, and this is going to be different for everyone. My motivation or what drives me is it's multifaceted, right? So the whole it you have to have a why, right? Before you even try to go anywhere. It's like stepping into a car, and if you don't have a destination, if you have nothing to put in your GPS, it's like, okay, why am I even doing this? Um, for me, I guess I'll give you three things. One, I want to experience abundance and true fulfillment. I want freedom of time, wealth, and location freedom. Because what's good of having a lot of money if I don't have time to spend it or enjoy it, right? People have really good high paying jobs, but they may be working 20 hours, and it's like I don't like the trade off. Location freedom. I may want not may I definitely love traveling. I've been to Mexico twice. I was supposed to go to Japan, but then COVID happened. I may want to move out of the states one day. Um, the next part is my success will be the success of others. And because, again, with that, I'm very giving. I want to help others also grow. So there's people who I don't even know that's depending on future me. And so that's something that I really take serious. The last reason, or maybe not the last reason, but the last reason I'll at least give now is it's the fear of it's it's like the alternative if I don't do anything, right? For future me, 3, 5, 10 years from now, I don't want to die and I didn't accomplish anything that I wanted to actually do. And so that's what motivates me or inspires me daily. Now, sometimes even I can get sidetracked or distracted or even lose that motivation. But one thing my grandmother taught me, and I just didn't listen because I'm hard headed, is that discipline, discipline, discipline. And one thing I preach in my group is that motivation is cute, but discipline is better. Because sometimes you're not gonna want to wake up and go to the gym, but it's a matter of, do I need to do this? Yes. So then I will do it. I had a stretch of a 30-day period where I did to mimic cold plunges. I took cold showers every day.
Mm,
It it was not fun, and every in my head I was like, oh, I don't want to do this, but I was like, I know there's benefits to this, more mentally than even the physiological benefits of it,
mm-hmm,
and I did that for 30 days. I'm really one thing I am really proud that I can say
mm-hmm.
is that once I decide to do something, I can just jump in and just dedicate myself in terms of like endurance. I used to drive Uber for a period for about a year or so, and I used to drive 12 hours a day. I think
Wow.
most people want, and nor should anyone drive 12 hours a day, but it's like, no, I had certain goals, and in order to hit that, I knew I needed to drive that amount, right? And I did that 7 days a week, took no breaks. Um, I can just step in when I need to really hyper focus on something.
I love that. I'm probably gonna need a little help from you on that department because I do think that I'm a little unorganized or undisciplined, I guess I should
Mm.
say.
Mhm.
I can tell you, simply put, like my kids,
Mhm.
my parents, like the motivation, inspiration aspect of it. But I love how you said that, you know, I mean, you want to leave your legacy, right? You want
Mhm.
to leave something in this world. What once you're no longer present physically here,
Mhm.
but also like the serving aspect of like people are depending on you, and it's hard to go about living life knowing that people are waiting for you to make a move and you're
Mhm.
not making it. So I really appreciate that. That's something that I'm probably going to write down and put for myself, to keep me a little bit more, like you said, disciplined.
And I will say this: everyone is capable of finding discipline in anything. Um, One thing that can help you immediately is just having good system set up where it's easier to be disciplined in. For example, let's say you want to start going on a diet, or you have a very specific health goal, right? And it's like, I want to cut back eating out or eating at work, ordering something. If you meal time 2 hours, an hour to meal prep over the weekend, and you have that stored in your refrigerator, it's like, I know when I wake up, I grab it, I take it to work. I know it the likelihood of me ordering out or buying something decreases because I took a few hours out of my week just to meal prep. So creating systems will help you um, be a little more disciplined, where uh, you're not dependent on your level to be disciplined. It's like it's
Mm-hmm.
just there, so it's easier. And just building a habit. Actually, it sounds silly. So there's a book. I forget the name of it, but I implemented this in our group for a stretch of 21 days, because on average it takes about 21 days to build a habit. We had to make our beds and take a picture of that and send it to the chat. So
Nice.
yeah, we did that. So yeah, there's literally a book about how making your bed can build and create a habit.
I think maybe you're talking about Atomic Habits.
Yes, yes,
And then the other book that I always think of when I think of Atomic Habits is The Compound Effect.
compound effect. Yep.
Is there other books that you would recommend that the listeners read, or podcasts maybe? Because I know you're a
Hmm.
podcaster.
Yeah. So I myself have not read many books, which I am ashamed of. But um, I'll say this: consume what you want to become. So I'll give out one podcast that I would say one I trust, but it can be used for almost anyone. It's for financial literacy. The guy's name is Anthony O'Neill. He has a phenomenal podcast. That's one I would go to. Let's see. And the School of Hard Knocks. They're a young group. They're doing some really fantastic interviews.
Okay.
There's other people that I listen to that you have. I love what you say at the beginning of your podcast. It's for educational purposes.
Mm-hmm.
Take what you need, leave what you don't, right?
Yeah.
So I can kind of filter out certain people I listen to, but I wouldn't recommend it necessarily to everyone. So that's why I was like, yeah, some people could be a little more divisive, or
Mm-hmm.
maybe a little abrasive. I'm not listening to anyone like crazy, but some
Mm-hmm.
things they may say here and there, like, I don't agree with that, but you do genuinely give amazing advice, or I do like your content. So, but those two that I gave you is they're phenomenal for anyone.
Great. I put their names down so I can, after we're done here, I can go in there and listen to a couple. But something that has stuck out to me a little bit during our conversation, and I don't think we talked about this offset, is your spirituality.
Mm, mm.
Can you tell us a little bit about your spirituality and how does that impact the things that you do?
Absolutely. So I grew up um, going to a Catholic school, but I would more identify as Christian. My grandmother would be the most responsible for my belief in Christ. Uh, and I know that is the source of everything. Now, I am not the biggest churchgoer anymore, but I do one thing that I've been really good at lately is I have the Bible app. I was on a 20-day streak. I am so mad I missed a day. The go part of my goal this month was to reach well, I had reached no, it was like 16 days. I was supposed to reach at least a 20-day streak, but that's okay.
Okay.
I just restarted. So I know that without Christ, there's nothing, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just very grateful for just having life. It sounds crazy. For all the problems I do have in my personal life, I'm even thankful for that because it's like I have a roof over my head, I have clothes over my body. I'm not in the state of homelessness, or
Mm-hmm.
it could just be so things can just be so much worse. So I have first world problems, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, Christ is everything to me, and there's things I definitely can do better in terms of having that relationship with Christ. But I try to pray daily, thank Him
Mm-hmm.
for waking up in the
Mm-hmm.
morning. I have a daily devotional book as well that I need to get back on. So that's part of my assignment for the year, and I need to be
Mm-hmm.
more disciplined with that. But yes, Christ is definitely fundamental in my life.
Yeah, and I just noticed like the verbiage that you're using, like conviction, abundance, and I'm like, okay, I like this vibe that I'm getting.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah, because I mean, essentially, stepping into your calling podcast has been a lot to do with my personal faith journey and stepping into what God has placed in my heart. Just really like saying, okay, God, fine. You've been bugging me all this time. I'm gonna give in.
Right, right.
But yeah, it's been like a learning process for me. A newer, or what we call ourselves, newbies, or baby Christians, and it's been a learning journey for me since then. Um, and I guess, I mean, is there something else that you want to add? I'm going to ask you my generic question that I ask every single person that comes to my podcast is, what does stepping into your calling mean to you?
That's a great question. I think I do have an answer. For me, and again, everything's personalized, of course, but stepping and calling is just simply doing exactly what you feel that you're called to do, whether you're religious or you're not. Whatever you just feel internally, I want to live my life by my rules that I set, and I want to also again bring people along for that ride. And I won't be satisfied until I reach that level. And one thing that I want to say before definitely finishing this podcast
Hmm.
is I will be back, and when I'm back, um, I will be at that next stage, so I can use my life as evidence to show people you can transform your life in a in 6 months, a year, however long that takes, right? But
Hmm.
stepping into my calling is just simply being exactly where I need to be to help as many people as I can.
I love that. Thank you so much for that. Is there anywhere where our listeners can find you?
Absolutely not. No, I am not to be found. But I will say that I really don't use social like that. I just use it more so. Again, YouTube's the biggest thing I use.
Yeah.
Again, I really consume a lot of content to that also helps for motivation or inspiration. Is just again, I said it earlier, consume what you want to become. Um, but I'll leave people with this. One of my favorite quote ever is speak what you seek until you see what you spoke. And
Mm.
I'll give you two more of that. And if you're not dead, then God's not done. And
Mm-hmm.
then the last one is average is the enemy, success is your responsibility, and change can take place in an instant once you decide to flip the script. So for anyone that's listening, no matter what stage you are, no matter how old you are, it's never too late to just do exactly what it is that you want to do. You may have people um, who genuinely want to help you, take certain things that you feel that's applicable for your life, but just go for it. Just go for it. We are here one time and one time only.
I love that. Thank you so much. That's great advice. I think anybody can listen to this and start walking into what it is that they want to work on.
Mhm.
Thank you for being here. Um,
Thank you for having me, honestly.
Absolutely. Let's thank Richie for
Yes,
connecting
yes. Thank you,
us.
Richie. Shout out to Richie.
Right? Yeah. Shout out to Richie. If you haven't heard his episode, it's the one before this one. So I'm gonna be wrapping things up here. But thank you again for being here. You're definitely gonna have to come back. We
Thank
have
you.
a lot more that we can be diving into when it comes to
Yes.
self development and self improvement. It's a huge ocean of topics. But thanks again. And
Awesome. Again, thank you for having me. For all the listeners, definitely rate this 5 stars. Marisol does a phenomenal job interviewing people, especially someone who used to be a podcaster. So I enjoyed this process. It was simple, it was fun, and again, thank you for having me, and can't wait to share this with everyone else.
yes, awesome. All right, Jumoni. Thank you and have a good day. Bye.
You too. Take care. Bye.
Hey, congratulations for listening to this episode and taking the next steps to start living a more intentional life. Please share this episode with someone who may need to hear it. Follow me on all social media platforms at Sol Lagunas. And thank you so much for supporting the podcast by subscribing, rating, and reviewing. Don't forget how much I appreciate you. Sending you lots of virtual hugs. And until the next one, keep stepping into your calling without fear.